Hey guys, today I will read a new book since Hetty Feather is so long and we have already know the ending of it. Hetty meet her new mother, which is the cook. So now I will present to you my favorite book. It is Wave Me Goodbye, also by Jacqueline Wilson. This one's my favorite. I have read this one several times, and now I want to share with you this story. So are you guys ready for this? If you're ready, then let's get started. First, I'll tell you what Wave Me Goodbye is all about. Do you see this girl here? Yeah. This girl is from London, since London has started the New World War, and all the children in London was evacuated to a new land that no one had ever seen before. And there goes this girl adventure. And in here, we'll know what is this girl name as well. Let's get started right into it with the first chapter. Okay, the first chapter. Would you like to go on a little holiday? Asked Mom the moment she'd shaken me awake. I sat up in bed and stared at her. Don't wrinkle your nose like that, she said. You look like a rabbit. I like rabbits, I said. I've been begging her for a pet rabbit for months. I've given up on the idea of a dog because I was at school all day, and Mom was planning to go back to work, so there would be no one at home to look after it. I tried asking for a cat instead, but Mom said they smelled. It was only Miss Jessup's ginger tone that punched a bit, and that might not be his fault because Miss Jessup herself was a bit whiffy, so Mom was talking nonsense. She was clearly talking nonsense now. A holiday? We never went on holidays. We've been on a coat trip to Clacton once, and I paddled in the sea and had a cornet and a sixpenny ride on a donkey. I thought it was the best day ever, but the men in the coach drank a lot of bottled beer on the way home and had a rude sing-song. Dad sang too. I thought it was funny, but Mom said it was common, and we never went on a coach trip again. Do you mean another coach trip, Mom? I asked. No, you're going by train, she said. This was even more exciting. I've never been on a train before. I love standing under the railway bridge when they thundered overhead. You could scream all sorts of things and no one could hear a word you were saying. A train? Yes, a train, said Mom. We'll be at Victorian Station to catch the 10 o'clock, so we better look sharp. What would you like for breakfast? Boiled egg or porridge? Or would you like both? I never had both. In fact, most days it was bread and dripping or bread and jam. Now I couldn't decide. Boiled egg were good, especially with toast soldier. But sometimes there was a weird little red thing in the joke, which Mom said was a baby chick. I felt like a murderer eating a baby, especially when it hadn't even been born. Ever since I'd eaten boiled egg with my stomach clenched. Porridge could be good too, but sometimes it was too sloppy, and sometimes it was so stiff it had a slimy edge, and that turned my stomach too. Make up your mind, Shirley, said Mom. I can't, I said. Could I perhaps have bread with butter and sugar as a special treat instead? There's no goodness in that, Mom started. Then she sighed. But all right, you'll better have a glass of milk with it. I'll bring it up on a tray, shall I? I dare say you'll like breakfast in bed. She went downstairs. I fished Timmy Ted out from under the bed covers and shook my head at him. Curious, I said, and made Timmy nod in agreement. I was quoting from my Christmas present, Alice Adventures in Wonderland. I read it 3 times in the last 9 months, and I agree with Alice that I only like books with pictures and conversation. However, I didn't like all the riddles and the feelings that nothing made sense. It was especially odd when babies turned into pigs and royalty became playing cards. Mom seemed different too. Why was she making such a fuss of me? And why were we going on holiday? Indeed, how were we going on holiday when we didn't have any money? It was the thing Mom and Dad wrote about most. And what about Dad? How could he come on holiday when he just gone away to be a soldier? Mom came back with a wooden tray and my sugar sandwich and a cup of milk carefully set out, along with a cup of tea and her pack of Cravenet cigarettes and the matches. I took a quick, hungry mouthful of my sandwich while she was lighting up. Mom, what about Dad? Wouldn't he feel sad if we're going on holiday while he were being a soldier? I asked. Don't talk with your mouth full, said Mom, drawing deeply on her cigarette. There's no need to feel sorry about your dad. He couldn't wait to get away from us, honestly. What does it look like? Joining up before they've even started the war. He's being brave, I said, chewing. He wants to fight for Britain. Your dad's not brave, said Mom. He squeals every time he sees a spider. Him fight? He couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. The sandwich turned lumpy in my mouth, but I couldn't swallow. I hated it when Mom talked about Dad like that. I suddenly miss him so much. I took a big gulp of milk and spluttered. Oh, Shirley, for goodness sake. And look, you have spilled milk all over your undersheets, you mucky pup. Here. Mom put her hand under my chin and tipped up my face so she could not have a good look at me. You're not crying, are you? Whatever for? I miss Dad terribly. I said, for heaven's sake, he's only been gone a couple of weeks. Yes, but I miss him so. I'm scared someone might ambush him and shoot him. You've seen too many cowboy films at the Saturday morning pictures. He's not fighting yet anyway. He's still at training camps. Now eat that sandwich quick before I take it away of you, said Mom. I ate. Mom watched me, her head on one side. Then she picked up a strand of my hair. Perhaps we'll better give you a hair of a good wash, she said. But it's Friday, I said, puzzled. I know, but I want you send you off as clean as clean. I've got to put the immersion on. You better have a bath and get your hair washed. You can use my dream shampoo if you like. I suddenly feel alarmed. Mom, are you kidding me? I haven't got to go to no hospital for my tonsil, have I? I've had my tonsil and adenoids out 2 years ago. And I've been scrubbed from top to toe first. Hospital was really scary and my throat had hurt horribly, though they have given me ice cream and jelly for dinner instead of meat and potatoes, which was an unexpected treat. I haven't got to go to any hospital, said Mom. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't want you growing up talking common just because we live in this awful dump now. And of course, you're not gonna go to the hospital and to have your tonsils out. How can you, when they've already been taken out, you daft sausage? You promise? I said, still suspicious. You're acting all funny this morning. Promise, said Mom, but she suddenly sat on the edge of my bed and gave me a hug, almost tipping the tray over. That seemed odder than ever, because Mom always say she wasn't one for lovey-dovey stuff and hardly ever hugged. She hasn't even given a dad a hug when he went off to be a soldier, just a squeak peck on the cheek. I breathed in Mom's lovely smell of scent and powder. She rubbed her cheek on the top of my head and gave an odd little sniffle, and then pushed me away. "Enough of that," she said, as if I started it. "Get into the bathroom, spit spot, and start washing. Don't forget your neck now and behind your ears. Spit spot, spit spot, spit spot," I said, running to the bathroom. I sat on the toilet while she taps run. "Mary Poppins," said Spitspot. I love Mary Poppins. She could be a bit of snappy like Mom, and she wasn't one for hugging either, but she worked the most amazing magic. She knew some wonderful people too, especially loved Maya, the youngest of the Star Sister, who came down to Earth to do her Christmas shopping. I'd had her as an imaginary friend for a while, and sometimes she took my hand and flew me right up to the sky to meet Orion and the Great Bear and the Little Bear. Sometimes she walked to school with me and held my hand tight when Marilyn Henderson gave me a thump on the back and called me Aladita Toffee-Nose Nitwit. Maya still came visiting occasionally, but I didn't need her so much now because I was the fourth foster sister. And Pauline, Petrova, and Posey looked out for me. Ballet Shoe was my absolutely favorite book. I play a quick ballet shoe game now, muttering under my breath because Mom hated me playing imaginary games and said I was soft in the head. We discussed our audition for Madame Flidola new production of Sleeping Beauty, and they all agree I'll pick for Princess Aurora, with Posey as a little lilac fairy. Pauline hopes she'll get to be the prince, as there weren't any boys at our stage school. Petrova wanted to be the 100-year-old bramble at the end, so all she had to do was sway in the breeze and try to scratch the prince with prickly fingers. We all laughed at her. "What are you giggling about?" Mom called. "I can't hear any splashing. Get on with that bath." "Yes, Mom," I said, and did as I was told. It was a treat washing my hair with Dream, when I usually just rub it with Lifebuoy soap. I had to keep dunking my head in the bath so it gets squeaky clean. I pretended that each dunk was making my hair grow longer. It sprang out on my scalp inch by inch, right down to my shoulders. I could almost feel it squishing this way and that way when I turned my head. When I wiped the steam off the bathroom mirror and saw that my hair still only came down to the tip of my ears, and I felt disappointed. I hunched my shoulder up, but I couldn't make it look any longer. While it was wet, I did look a bit curly, but by the time I rubbed it with a towel, it was poker straight again. Clean vests and clean knickers and clean white socks, Mom commanded when I went back to my bedroom. And your pleated skirts and your Fair Owl jumper. I quite like my pleated skirt with the seams on, white bodice. I sometimes held out on the pleats and pretended it was a ballet dress. I kept Dad's penknife in my pocket. I tried to give it back to him when he wanted to join the army, but he said I could keep it as a lucky mascot. But the Fair Owl jumper was another matter. "It's too hot, Mom, and it inches. It's not winter yet," I said. "Can I wear a dress?" "Not for traveling, but I'll pack your smoke dress." My smoke dress was my best frock. Tiny dress and white checks with red gather across the chest. And what do we have here? And a proper sash at the back. It was to wear to parties with my red patent shoes, though I didn't get asked to parties at my new school. I love my red shoe, though they rub under the strap and were getting very small for me now. You could see the outline of my toe under the patent leather. "Can I wear my red shoe, Mom?" "Well, you're meant to wear a stout shoe. Lord knows what they mean by that." I suppose they mean brown lace up. But I'm not putting any daughter of mine in clodhoppers. They're for boys. You haven't got any stout shoe apart from your Wellingtons. And you look a right bananas in those, seeing as it's sunny. So yes, you can wear your red shoe. Now stand still while I do your parting and tie your hair ribbon, said Mom. I stood still, stretching out my toes before I had to cram them into the red cages. You're doing that nose wriggling again. Stop it. His mom, a hair grip in her mouth, ready to stamp my damn hair into place. I was thinking over what she just said today. I asked. What? Said Mom, tying my hair ribbon on one side and pulling it out carefully so the ends were even. Who are they? I repeated. You said that they said I should wear stout shoes. Oh, Shirley, stop your silly question and hurry up. Did you clean your teeth? I thought not. Now go and give them a good scrubbing. And then I want you to get your toothbrush and the toothpaste and your flannel. Squeeze it out properly, and we'll put them in my sponge bag. Shall I get your toothbrush and flannel too, Mom? You'll leave me to organize myself, she said. Now, let's get you packed. She reached out to the top of my wardrobe and brought down my cardboard suitcase. She blew the dust off and looked at it critically. It's filling to bits. And what have you got inside? She opened it up and stared at my coloring pencil and my notebooks and my dollhouse furniture and my old toy tea set and my door plastic Jenny Grand dolly who had lost her eye inside her head and now gave me the creep. For heaven's sake, Mom exclaimed. What's all this junk? And I thought you said your teacher had confiscated your dolly when you took her to school. What's she doing here? And what have you done to her eyes? That doll cost 7 and 6, miss. I'm sorry, Mom. She had an accident and I was scared to tell you. I said. I was pretty scared to tell you. Her eyes fell and now they rattle around inside her and won't come out again. It wasn't my fault. They just did it honestly, and you're making it worse, lying like that. You did it, didn't you? Of course I've done it, though I didn't mean to. I was playing with Jenny Gran, even though I knew I was too old for such games. After all, I'll turn 10 this summer. Jenny Gran was more of an ornament than a doll, but this meant she was pointless. I've been taken to Bertram Mills Circus at Olympia for a special Christmas treat, so I turned Jenny Gran into a tightrope walker, tying my dress gown cord between my wardrobe handle and a knob on my chest drawers. She was balancing so splendidly on her little knitted socks that I let go for half a second. She fell on her head, and there was an awful click. And then she didn't have her eyes anymore, just awful dark blanks, and I had to shut her up in a suitcase quickly. Well, it's your loss, because you're allowed to take one toy, and that doll was the best toy. But you can't take her like that. She looks shocking, said Mom, tipping everything out of the suitcase helter-skelter onto the floor. Timmy Ted's my best toy, I said, but he looks awful too, holding him by one paw and sniffling disdainfully. She had put him in the wash because he was getting so grubby, and he'd never been the same since. He'd gone all droopy and his snout was lopsided, but I still loved him, unlike poor Jenny. Luckily, Mom had dropped him and started fussing about the state of the suitcase instead. Look at that handle. That's not gonna last, is it? The stitches are already unraveling at one end. And it looks so shoddy. Oh dear Lord, it'll come to pieces before you get there, she said. Get where? The country, said Mom, abandoning my suitcase and going into her bedroom. Where in the country? I called. I was surprised. Mom had never been keen on the country. She always said there was nothing there but a lot of fields and trees, so it was the point. Oh, do give over, Shirley, said Mom, cleared up all that mess on the floor, and stowed it back in that old suitcase. You'll have to use this one. She brandished the big, glossy brown sample suitcase. But that's Dad's, I said, shocked. Dad was a commercial traveler, a brush salesman. Any sort of brush, madam. Nail brush, toothbrush, hairbrush, clothes brush, every size and shape of high-quality brushes. That was his pattern. He sometimes pretended that I was one of his customers, and he'll flip the lid open, and that was all of the brushes lined up in neat rows, and I'll take my pick. He's not needing it now, is he? He's in the army, said Mom. It's not even his suitcase. It belonged to the fine Bristol Company, I said, pointing to the name inside the case. Yes, well, they won't be bothering about that now. Not when war's going to be declared any minute. Help me unslot all these bally brushes, said Mom, trying to wiggle each one out from under the tight bands, keeping it in place. You're not meant to take out the brushes, I said. Dad will get cross. That's not here, is he? And he took the only decent suitcase with him, so he had to use this, and he can jolly well lump it. It was very odd seeing Mom putting my washing things, clean nightie, another set of underwear and socks, my smoke dress, my hairbrush, a pack of 3 hair grips, and a spare ribbon into Dad's sample case. Now this toy. Why don't you take that nice jigsaw puzzle off the map of the world? It'll keep you busy for ages and it's educational, said Mom. I don't really like jigsaw puzzle. And you can't cuddle them, I pointed. Please let me take Timmy, Ted. All right, said Mom, sighing. Put him in. I tried to make it be bumped around inside the suitcase. I just spent ages smoothing out that dress, and now you're getting all crumpled, said Mom, elbowing me out of the way. Right, nearly done. You can take 1 book, too. 1? I said. Yes, well, I know that's a bit limited, the way you rush through books. You have to read it all on the train journey. Perhaps you can sip in 2. Choose quickly. I knelt on my bed and looked at the row of my new shelf. It wasn't straight and the edges were rough and gave you a splinter if you weren't careful. Dad wasn't very good at household jobs. I looked at all the books standing in neat alphabetical order. I decided I was going to be a librarian when I grew up, and practicing Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Ballet Shoe, Black Beauty, A Little Princess, Little Woman, Mary Poppins, Peter and Wendy, and the Squirrel, the Hare and the Little Gray Rabbit. I also had Orlando the Marmalade Cat, but it was too big to fit on the shelf. So I laid it across the other books with a little plaster cat made with my modeling kit on top. I was so pleased with my book arrangement that I often sat up in bed and looked at it for sheer enjoyment. But now my eyes scan each title anxiously. I love them all, even Alice. How could I possibly choose? I want to take them all, I said. Shame you gotta squash all your clothes into the case too, Mom. Otherwise there might be room. Mom didn't say anything. I turned around. I saw her face. Mom, hurry up now. Mom, you're coming too, aren't you? I asked. My voice was suddenly squeaky. Well, no, I'm not coming, she said. But you said... Trying to remember exactly what she had said. So is Dad taking me then, Shirley? Have you gone simple? Your dad's in the army, for pity's sake. Yes, but I can't go on holiday on my own. You're not going to be on my own. You're going to go with lots and lots and lots of other children, said Mom. Which other children? I asked anxiously. All your school friends. I started going to Paradise Road Juniors 3 months ago. My class still called me the new girl. I didn't seem to have any special friend, but I had a deadly enemy. Marilyn Henderson made my life a misery. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go on holiday with my school, I said firmly. It's not your school, Shirley. It's children from all over London. You're going to go on this holiday. You're being evacuated. It's keep you safe if those wicked Germans start dropping bombs. Are they really going to drop bombs, Mom? Don't you worry about it. You'll be safe in the country, having a whale of a time. Now choose 2 books if you must. I'll take Alice in Wonderland. It's not as tattered as the other, and it was your Christmas present. I ignored this idea. I choose Ballet Shoe because it was my favorite, and Mary Poppins because I felt in need of a nanny who could do magic. Then I saw little Gray Butter in her soft gray dress, looking at me imploringly. So I picked the squirrel, the hare, and the little gray rabbit too. I clutched all 3 to my chest. Can you count? And why choose those 3? They're all filling to bits. You'll read that badly Ballet Shoe at least 10 times, and Mary Poppins too. Look, the cover's all torn, and that rabbit book is far too babyish, said Mom. You've had to have it since you were 5. People will think you're backward, when in fact you're really a good reader. I want them. Please, Mom, especially Little Gray Rabbit. She lives in the country, and you said we were going to the country. Only now you're not coming. Oh, Mom, why aren't you coming? I wailed, because war is going to be declared any minute, and all the grown-ups have to stay behind and help. Everyone knows that. I've got to do my bit. I applied for a job at Pendleton's, said Mom, tucking my 3 books into the sample case and then snapping it shut. Pendleton Meadow, where Dad used to work? I asked, astonished. Mom had always hated Dad working in a factory. She made him apply for a job in Great Department Store instead. But that hadn't worked out. And then he worked in a hat shop, which closed down. So then he was a commercial traveler. But he couldn't sell many brushes, no matter how hard he tried. So he had to move to Whitebird Street, where the rents were cheaper. And I had to go to a new school where nobody liked me. It's not gonna be Pendleton Metals anymore. It's gonna be Pendleton Munition, making weapons for the army. They're changing all the machinery over as part of the war effort, said Mom. You're gonna work in a factory? I asked, trying to imagine her in overalls, with hair tied in a scarf like the ladies I saw, hurrying to work when I went to school. No, you noddle. You know perfectly well I was trained to be a secretary before I married your father. I'm gonna be Mr. Pendleton Private Secretary, said Mom. Why don't you tell me about your job and my holiday and all this? I demanded. Hey, watch your tone, young lady. I didn't want you to tell you before because I knew you'd simply get into a state, just the way you are now. And there's no time for it. We have to get you to that station, and the buses are a nightmare now. Come on, put your coat on. Wait while I pin this daft label on you. But I'm already boiling in this woolly jumper. You do look a bit pink, said Mom, sighing. Well, I'll pin it in your jumper. Keep still. I don't want to pull any of the threads. I peered down at my chest and read the label upside down. I said it loudly. Shirley Lewis Smith, Paradise Road Junior School. I know. Why you have to have a label at your age? I don't know. You're hardly likely to forget your own name, said Mom. Now put the coat in your case and then we'll get cracking. I'm gonna put on my hat and jacket. She went into her bedroom. I undid my case, folded my coat inside, and then very quickly grabbed all of the rest of my books and tumbled them on top of my clothes, even Orlando. I put my gas mask case strap over my shoulder, then snapped the case shut, and hauled it off the bed and down the stairs. Thump, thump, thump. I could barely lift it. But I didn't care. I needed all my books with me. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to enjoy this holiday one little bit. So that was the end of chapter 1. And what will happen to Shirley at the bus station in chapter 2? We'll find out. Bye guys. Thanks for watching and I really hope you enjoyed today's video of a new book. Bye.